Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Bound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. So in a previous video I shared a journal that I made for a friend, a flowish journal, and this is going back in time a little bit, and I'm sharing the process of how I got some of the pages ready for it and how it's just a really fun eclectic journal. And I just gather all different types of papers and pages from Daphne's diary, and as I cut them and fold them in this video as well, I thought that I would answer some of your questions and just go through the ones from the 8K subscriber video and get through as many as I can while this is playing in the background, or maybe you want to craft while you watch and listen. And hopefully it's just a nice relaxing time. So the first question and video request was to see a video about where I buy all my supplies. So I'm going to make a list of all the video requests and questions and see how I can answer them best in a video. So those will be to come. In terms of how much it costs, it really just depends on the supply, and usually I get things in bulk if I can. For example, when I buy my vintage French ephemera, I will usually set myself a budget of $200 including postage. So I will go to Etsy for that and just type in vintage French ephemera or vintage French paper, vintage French documents, see what comes up, and then get something in bulk up to the value of $200. If I'm at an op shop, or a vintage shop, I'll look around and whatever grabs my eye, I'll have a look at it. Someone asked me how much I would spend on books, for example. They range from anything from 50 cents. Sometimes you get them for free. Some op shops have a box that says books for free, so that's kind of fun. But I will pay up to $20, maybe more, if it's a vintage book, if it has stunning, beautiful pages, if it's got a lot of pages that I can use, and if I can also use the cover to make a journal. So that way I can use every single page, get a lot of use out of it. And the way I look at it is some paper pads cost $20+. So I figure instead of buying a paper pad, or I'll just buy a book that costs the same as a paper pad, if that makes sense. So let's have a look here. Shell, beautiful Shell, she wanted to see my face instead of my talking hands. So just a note there, I only show my face over on Patreon, and Shell is a patron anyway, so she can get to see my face over on Patreon. I do some face-to-face videos over there every now and then, just for my own comfort zone. That's just what I feel more comfortable with, sharing my face with friends over on Patreon and not publicly in the land of YouTube. What's the next question? So let me just scroll down. Another request was to see my craft space and how I organize everything. So sometimes some of the requests I've already had or shown videos. So what I'll try to do is I'll go through all your questions and I will find the video and link it so that you can see that. And I do have an updated craft space tour. That one is on my Patreon as well, just because I moved house and I live in someone else's family's house, and so I just feel a bit more safe sharing that. Just keep their space private. It's not my own house to share publicly, so that's why I've put that craft space tour over on Patreon, because it's not my house. So yeah, if you would like to check that out, you can check that out there too. But basically how I organize things is in baskets and boxes, and maybe I can even link that in this video. I can share all the links, although I'm notoriously bad at linking things in videos. Often I will say, I will link that in the video below, and then someone will comment and say, you forgot the link, can you please link that? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. So yeah, I forget. I often record my videos and don't put them up till much later because I film in bulk. I do everything in bulk. So by the time I put it up, I've forgotten what I've said. I've forgotten what I'll link. But if I do say I'll link something, or if I mention anything, do feel free to ask for me to link it, and I can definitely do that for you for sure. But yeah, the box and basket method is what I go for because they can stack. And she asks how I'm doing today. Doing well, thank you. Let me have a look at the next question. What are my favourite types of ephemera to make? Okay, so my favourite types of ephemera to make are probably just journal cards. At the moment I'm really liking making tags as well, vintage tags. That's been really quite fun. And yeah, I've been really getting into the masterboard lately and using that method to create collage tags. Okay, next question. What's my favourite part of junk journaling, or my favourite part of journal making, sorry. It is the cover, always making the cover. I always start with the cover, and it's just all about the cover for me. Whenever I buy a journal, it's mostly because the cover speaks to me. And I also really love just knowing or hoping or trusting that the journal will go to someone who will just absolutely love it, and that they will be able to fill it up and make it their own. That's one of the reasons, or the main reasons, that I make journals, is so people can use them and get a lot of joy out of them. So next question, where do I get my inspiration for my journals, like the fairy ones? It just comes from the supplies. So for example, the fairy journals, I found a fairy book in the op shop, and so that book itself inspired me to make the fairy journals. So it literally just comes from my supplies. If I have a lot of, I don't know, let's say pink items in my stash, then that might inspire me to make a pink themed journal. If I have a lot of butterfly themed items in my stash, then that might inspire me to make a butterfly journal. Next question, do I have a favourite place to buy my supplies? So op shops and vintage shops are my favourites, but I also do like going on Etsy as well. Next question, what's my favourite flower? So it's a white tiger lily. So the shape of a tiger lily, but a white one, not orange. I also like jasmine and bluebells and forget-me-nots and cornflowers, just for the colour. I don't actually like the shape of a cornflower, but I like the colour. Next question, besides journaling, what other hobbies do I have that is not crafting? Okay, so reading, love books. Writing, love writing, and watching movies, listening to music, roller skating at the moment is a huge hobby, spending time with my cat, and listening to Psychology in Seattle, a podcast that I am a patron of. So the next question, how much time do I take in putting together supplies and a theme when getting ready to start new journals? Putting together supplies and a theme. Well, usually I already have I already have the theme in mind, so that doesn't take much time at all. I'll just look at my supplies and go, oh, okay, got lots of flowers, let's make a flower journal. And then how long it takes to put the supplies together, I don't know in terms of hours, but usually just I don't know, maybe over the course of a day I'll just have a look around my room and pull out different things. So usually I'll find a cover and then I will pull out my pages, and basically it just looks like going through every box and every basket and finding things that have to do with that theme. So sometimes, I don't know, usually it will just be like a like over a week process type thing, as I gather different things and work on different stages. So I'll work on the cover first, and then I'll pull out my supplies for papers, and then the next day I'll pull out supplies for ephemera and handmade stuff. And so yeah, it's just slowly I'll just pull out different things. So next question, where is the one place you would love to visit? Well, it's always Melbourne. Melbourne will always be my home. That's where I grew up, and so home is always Melbourne. And because I live in Bowen, my first choice of where to go is always going to be Melbourne. But in terms of like a new different place, I guess, I don't know, I'd like to visit my own country first, like visit around my own country. And I always say Perth, WA, because that's the one state I haven't been to yet in Australia, and because my football team is from WA, so I'd love to see an Eagles home game. In terms of overseas, I love the tropical islands, so you know, Fiji, Bali, that kind of thing. I'd love to go there. I haven't been overseas though, so who knows if I would actually like it. And I also had this little idea of going to America and spending, like, this is just a crazy dream, like not realistic, but spending like a year in Portland, Oregon, to write in cafes and read books in bookshops and write a memoir type thing. And also maybe to spend a year in Seattle to visit with Kirk and Umberto from Psychology in Seattle, and just, yeah, I like the idea of the whole soul searching and writing about your journey and what you see and the people you meet and that kind of thing. Next question is, when did I learn to sew? I think that was in 2018. Bought myself a sewing machine for the reason of sewing in my junk journals, and I was so intimidated. I think I had it for a month before I even looked at it. But a friend came over and she knew how to sew, and so it was really great. She came over and she showed me how to sew. Like, basically how it happened was she set it up for me and I watched her how she set it up, and so that's how I learned how to set it up. And then I watched her sew, and then while she was there I had a bit of a go sewing, and then after that I was on my own. And it just took a lot of practice, just a lot of time before I could sew straight and before I could sew fast. Alright, so next question, let's have a look here. What do I enjoy most about journaling? Well, it's just therapeutic. It's nice to get my thoughts and feelings out on the page, and I just enjoy putting myself on the page. It's a form of self-expression, and it's a form of creativity, and I just love documenting memories and documenting my life, pretty much. Do I have any pets? Yes, I do. I have a black cat, Keanu, and I absolutely love him. What age did I start ballet? Well, as a kid, I always loved ballet. I always wanted to do ballet. So as a kid, I would buy ballet books. No, actually not buy ballet books. I had ballet books in our library. We had a library at home. And I would read those books and follow along with the steps. When I was at school, I borrowed books from the library about ballet, and I would stretch and do the moves from those books. But finally, at the age of 26, I started adult ballet lessons, so 26. And it's never too late. So I thought the ship had sailed, and that it would just be like a recreational thing. But no, it actually led to me being able to perform every year in a concert, and wearing a tutu and tiara and getting my point shoes. So absolutely amazing. Oh, we're at the end of this video now, so I'll pick up these questions in a different video. Hope that was enjoyable. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.